Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. As we're just going to continue it with the Leopard Breloom team, currently with a rating of 1792, so let's see if we can reach over 1800 with this team today. A couple of small things, I have been really busy as I mentioned in yesterday's video, but I am finally pumping out more content, so the next couple of days there will be a couple of extra uploads, including the team analysis that you guys were asking for on both the Trick Room team and the Mega Lopunny team, an individual Pokemon analysis, and some other great stuff. So thanks for bearing with me guys, schedule's been pretty busy, but looking forward to uploading some more awesome videos. In addition, I have uploaded, or updated I should say, a bunch of playlists, including the Road to Rank playlist, as TR Kid TG from New York, 1838, a rematch actually, we played him I think 2 days ago, but I do have that playlist updated as well, so now you can catch up on all the episodes of Road to Rank if you have not seen them already. But this should be a very interesting match. I think that one was the one with the Morning Sun Arcanine, I believe, as he's got Terrakion, Greninja, Kangaskhan, Latios, Arcanine, and Raichu. So the Latios and Greninja definitely stick out. Raichu and Arcanine also as well, though. Let's see. This is a pretty difficult matchup. My opponent's team relies heavily on speed, and I'm not entirely a fan of that, though Cresselia can take advantage here with Icy Wind. If it gets the Calm Mind up, I feel like it would be really, really good as well. I kind of like the Leopard Cresselia lead, actually. One of the few times I feel like that's really, really good. I definitely need Terrakion here for the Arcanine, though I think my opponent's team is pretty well built in the sense that everything else kind of can be annoying to Terrakion, especially that Latios. The Breloom here would be nice to hit the Kangaskhan and the Terrakion. I can also get a Spore off, especially with the Focus Sash. I'm probably going to want to keep Thundurus out this one. The real question is whether I want Scizor or not. I mean, Scizor's decent. The main reason I bring it is because my opponent can't really hit it for too hard, but I'm actually going to opt for a Breloom this time around just because of the fact it can get Spores off. And, my opponent can't really one-hit KO other than with the Kangaskhan. So let's see how this plays out. But pretty cool to get a rematch against him after playing him just a couple of days ago. I did win that one, but he has changed up his team a considerable amount, so we'll see how this plays out. Okay, so we're going to see the Raichu and Latios lead, alright. Against Cress Leopard. So, not the worst, not the best. Let's see. I do get a free Calm Mind up here with Cresselia. You know what? Yeah, I'll just fake out Latios and Calm Mind up. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna go for the Icy Wind this first turn, just because that would actually do some decent damage. He does go for the fake out onto Leopard. That's fine. Probably a double into Leopard. Oh, but we see the Safeguard. Interesting, not the move I was expecting. I don't exactly know what my opponent's trying to go with the Safeguard here. But I do get a free Icy Wind off, so that breaks the potential Focus Sash from Raichu. And the thing is, my opponent just used Safeguard and Fake Out, so, I can go immediately for a... excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, I had to respond to a quick message here, but yeah, I can immediately go for an Encore onto one of the two Pokemon. He might want to switch out with both, but I'm gonna just Encore the Latios and go for a Calm Mind here. So he is gonna switch out Raichu, but that's fine, as Arcanine comes in. And, with these Calm Minds, Cresselia can do a lot of work. I would suspect Latios is going to... Okay, it's not going to switch out. Interesting. So I do just get a free Encore off there, which obviously I'm very happy about. And it doesn't have Mental Warp, which is like one of the only reasons you'd stay in there. So I do get a free Calm Mind up. And right now this Cresselia is just looking like a huge threat against my opponent's entire team, as obviously Latios is locked into Safeguard here. Let's see. I'm going to go for the Foul Play onto Arcanine. And I think Latios is going to switch out, so I'm going to go for another Icy Wind, also to decrease the Arcanine speed. As Latios does switch out, either into Raichu or maybe Kangaskhan, but it's going to be that Raichu. But I'm just getting free damage off right now, so really getting the original Encore off against Latios was pretty big. I'm still not entirely sure why my opponent even tried to set up Safeguard in the first place, as I do get another Icy Wind off, and both of his Pokemon are pretty heavily weakened. I do get a pretty free switch into Terrakion should I lose the Liepard here, but he actually goes for the Snarl there with Arcanine. Wasn't expecting that, but a good move. So that does bring my Cresselia special attack back to neutral, but the special defense boost here is still nice. And obviously with leftovers, like right now, my Pokemon just aren't heavily damaged at all. And I think it's just interesting, as Arcanine does have leftovers, that Liepard, you know, tends to be one of the more frail Pokemon. The fact it can stay around for this long is pretty funny to me. I'm expecting another Snarl, so I'm going to switch out Liepard to Terrakion. Even if he doesn't go for the Snarl, that's fine. And I'm going to go for... kind of want to go for another Calm Mind. Yeah. Reason being is Arcanine might go for a Snarl here. If it does go for a Snarl, sure, that brings me back to neutral, but that gives the Terrakion the justified boost. Also brings Cresselia to +2 special defense, which is really good, especially against Latios in the back. But we do see Fake Out going to Crest, so good play in that. What does Arcanine go for? Goes for the Flamethrower, okay. So going to target down Terrakion, but I'm in a really good position because now I'm at the point where I can just Rock Slide Icy Wind, and that does a lot to anything my opponent has on his team. You know, one of the things about using faster Pokemon is they tend to be more frail. So for example, Raichu, Greninja, whatnot, those aren't Pokemon that can really take switch-ins, and they are faster than Terrakion, but with Icy Wind support, Terrakion is able to outspeed them. So Icy Wind really helping me out here, as Rock Slide does connect with both my opponent's Pokemon, which is fantastic. Gonna knock out the Raichu. So in retrospect, I could have Psychic the Arcanine, but I mainly went for the Icy Wind to punish any potential switch-ins, especially for that Latios, because that's a huge threat to me. So Icy Wind's not going to do very much to Arcanine, but I do knock out the Raichu, and I get a lot of free damage off here. He does go for the Will-O-Wisp, and it does connect, targeting Cresselia here. Smart decision, since Terrakion obviously is a Pokemon that carries Lumberry most of the time, so trying to get that residual damage, because right now Cresselia is at +2 special defense, which I'm sure my opponent is slightly worried about, as both of us continue to heal from leftovers. But I've still got Liepard basically saved up, and of course that Breloom in the back as well. One thing I might want to watch out for, however, is the potential Kangaskhan, in which I would want to conserve the Terrakion here. Regardless, though, I'm definitely very pleased about how the game has played out so far, but it's still not over, so, you know, gotta play safe. Now let's see. Once again, I'm still trying to understand that turn 1 play by my opponent. I feel like that just gave me such a huge advantage, but obviously I'm not going to complain. I want to conserve Terrakion, so I'm actually going to switch out into Liepard and Icy Wind. Because the way I see it, my opponent is either going to go for a Psychic type attack onto Terrakion or protect with Latios, predicting me to protect Icy Wind. So this way I get a free switch into Liepard, so if my opponent protects with Latios, I can Encore it. He goes for the Tailwind. That's actually perfectly fine as well, because I can Encore him into the Tailwind. So, I mean, Liepard's ability to disrupt is just fantastic. And we have seen Tailwind and Safeguard from that Latios, so I'm really wondering what kind of moveset it is. You'd assume a Dragon-type attack and maybe Protect as the last one. That, or it's not carrying Protect and is carrying a Psychic-type attack instead. As Arcanine does go for that Morning Sun, so I'm going to have to be careful of those Morning Suns. You know, in the last time I was able to actually get a critical hit to shut it down. But now, once again, my opponent's put himself in a position where I can Encore with Liepard with either of my Pokemon. So, yeah, I mean, this is working out really well right now. And that's the thing with support moves, like, Liepard just completely shuts you down. So, I kind of want to just go for the foul play onto Latios, though, expecting a switch out into the Kangaskhan. I'm actually going to double up into that slot, yeah, with the foul play and a Psychic. Yep, he is going to switch out, so relatively easy prediction to make there, as Kangaskhan does come in, so I'm going to be doing a ton of damage, maybe even picking up a knockout, let's see. Liepard gets the foul play off. How much does it do? Alright, around over 50%. That's fine. And the Psychic should bring it to KO range. Yep. As he goes for the Flamethrower, but now even Mach Punch can knock it out. His Flamethrower does go into Liepard and doesn't even knock me out. And because of those Icy Winds, I'm actually able to outspeed the Arcanine right now as well. So this is really good. And I feel like I've been able to just take advantage of the fact that Liepard does have access to Encore, so it just heavily punishes, like I said, these support moves. So I am just going to double into the Kangaskhan here with a foul play and a Psychic. I would expect the Kangaskhan to maybe target the Cresselia with like a double edge. My opponent might be feeling the pressure at this point. And in retrospect, I actually did not make a very good play here. We might actually, let's see what the Kangaskhan goes for. Oh, he goes for the Drain Punch. Not the most common fighting type attack on Kangaskhan as opposed to Power Up Punch and Low Kick, but okay. Psychic's just gonna pick up the KO here, so that's good. And yeah, things are looking pretty solid right now, as I do get the Psychic. Though, one thing that's interesting to note is the safeguard actually gives my Breloom in the back a fair amount of trouble. As we do see a Snarl come out from that Arcanine. So let's see, Snarl, Flamethrower, Morning Sun, and Will-O-Wisp. So it doesn't carry Protect, which is obviously good information to know. And the Will-O-Wisp onto Cresselia play earlier on was very smart as well, because the residual damage, as you see, is picking up. My opponent has no way otherwise to really damage it, so Snarl, you know, paired with Morning Sun and Will-O-Wisp is actually really helping out my opponent right now. So, let's see now. I'm going to bring in... I think Terrakion is the call. Though Breloom could force a Safeguard. Actually, I'm going to bring in Breloom because once I get an Icy Wind off against that Terrakion, I can just Rock Slide away. So, Latios comes in. Knowing that my opponent has the Safeguard, I'm actually going to predict that, and I'm just going to Bullet Seed an Icy Wind. Once I knock out Latios, Terrakion beats Arcanine 1-on-1, so basically that's what I'm going for right now. And he does go for the Safeguard, but I'm not going to walk into that, so I'm just going to get free damage off. To the point where I think a Mach Punch after the Bullet Seed and Icy Wind might be able to knock it out. Let's see. So, first of all, it comes down to how many hits I get with Bullet Seed. That's already 3, to the point where Icy Wind might even be able to knock it out, but oh wow, it continues to go down. So, Bullet Seed doing a very good amount of damage there to Latios. Icy Wind does come out, that's going to be able to pick up the KO, so that's exactly what I was playing for. Of course, I did run into the risk of Latios going for a Protect there, but I felt like my opponent couldn't afford to go for it, because then I could just Spore the Arcanine, and then, you know, the Latios would be, it's like a 2-on-1 at that point. So, Arcanine goes for another Snarl here. That's, you know, not going to do very much at this point. Actually crits Cresselia. But things are looking really good, especially with the Terrakion on the back. You know, the whole idea behind KOing Latios was because it was the biggest threat to Terrakion on my opponent's team. And I feel like I did get a pretty good play out of that Foul Play Psychic target onto Kangaskhan, because Kangaskhan under Tailwind is a very, very threatening Pokemon, but fortunately enough, it ended up working out alright. Tailwind does peter out for my opponent here, though at this point it doesn't really matter. So, I'm just going to Mach Punch the Arcanine, and I'm actually going to switch out into Terrakion. I mean, once at this point, I have single target Rock Slides left. Arcanine can't beat Terrakion given its moveset Flamethrower, Will-O-Wisp, Morning Sun. So, I feel pretty good at this point, but let's see. Mach Punch also does a pretty good amount there. He does go for that Flamethrower, targeting down the Breloom, but now I can just win with the Terrakion. Pretty intense game, but I really feel like I just had it from the first turn. Not had the game won, but like I had such a huge advantage because of my ability to go for the Encore. And that's why it's so fun playing with Liepard. I mean, so many players just walk into the trap of using support moves, but, you know, paired with the right Pokemon, Liepard plus, you know, a really strong sweeper is just fantastic. So I'm going to go for the Psychic and the Rock Slide. Don't want to decrease my own defense or special defense. If I miss Rock Slide, that's fine because he's forced the Morning Sun, to which I'll just get free damage off. But Rock Slide does hit the Arcanine there. It is going to pick up the KO, and we are able to pick up a win in the very first game of today's episode, which is great. So an intense one, and that's actually going to put us over 1800, which I'm pretty pleased about. So let's see how this next game goes. Pretty cool to get a rematch against him, especially because last time I got pretty lucky to win the match, so I'm glad this one was a bit more luck-free. So, good game to him there, as now we are over 1800. Let's see how much higher we can climb with this team before the week actually ends, but a fun game in that one. So, let's see. Yeah, I mean, in that one too, my opponent didn't have a great way to deal with Cresselia, and that's another reason why I brought it when I saw my opponent's team, knowing that I could just Calm Mind up, and like, Arcanine can't touch it, Latios can't touch it, etc. My opponent didn't really have a great way to deal with it, as, Bucio from Mexico with a rating of 1823, a lot of, highly rated opponents today. Alright, well, it's only 2 games, but, he's got a team of Blaziken, Sylveon, Thundurus, Bisharp, Kangaskhan, and Suicune, so also a very threatening team. Blaziken, I would assume, is Life Orb, given like Kangaskhan here is the most obvious Mega Evolution. Let's see. Figuring out what to lead with here is quite difficult. Like, Cresselia fares quite well against Blaziken and Thundurus, but I don't know. Cresselia is a Pokemon that likes to get, you know, Calm Minds up if it can, but it's really difficult in this game. Now, I do like leading Liepard Thundurus. Actually, yeah, that's a really solid lead here. I am pretty weak to Blaziken if I don't bring Cresselia, which is my main concern right now, though I could potentially paralyze it. Like, I'm leaning towards Scizor and Kangaskhan Scizor and Terrakion in the back. You know what, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't like bringing Cresselia against a Bisharp, and then like Thundurus can taunt it, Suicune can snarl it, Sylveon can just hyper voice it, and like I said, like Cresselia is a Pokemon that wants to get at least 1 or 2 Calm Minds up in positions where it's not taking too much damage, but the majority of my opponent's team can do a lot of damage to it. For example, the Kangaskhan, the Bisharp, the Sylveon, etc. So I'll lead with Liepard and Thundurus here, as my opponent's going to go with Kangaskhan and Thundurus, which is alright. I can just go for the fake out onto Kangaskhan. I mean, I could fake out Thundurus too here, but I don't think my opponent's going to walk into it. He's probably just going to low kick the Liepard or double edge Thundurus. And I do have Terrakion in the back to deal with Thundurus. So yeah, I'll just go for the fake out onto Kang. And I'm gonna Thunder Wave it. Yeah. Gonna Mega Evolve, but I do outspeed it, so guaranteed paralysis here. By paralyzing it, it means that even if my opponent's Thundurus Thunder Waves my Liepard, I can outspeed him and foul play him. And, you know, I can just target it for a foul play. He goes for the taunt onto probably my Thundurus? Yeah. So, I don't know if it was a speed tie there, but a good play from my opponent there. And that's going to shut my Thundurus down, unfortunately. However, I can Encore the Thundurus here. But I kind of want to get a foul play off. I don't know, though. Encore is actually really tempting here. Just because it shuts it down, and then I do get a free switch into Terrakion, so I'm actually going to go for the Encore and the Thunderbolt onto Kangaskhan. Good taunt from my opponent that first turn, though. That was well done. So Thunderbolt should do a lot of damage. If Kangaskhan goes for the double edge onto Thundurus, then Foul Play should be actually able to knock it out. But another great play by my opponent as he actually switches out Thundurus into Sylveon, so my opponent's just making great plays right now. And I would assume I'm losing Liepard here, and I do kind of wish I went for the foul play. But we do see Double Edge. Is it going to target down Thundurus? Yeah, it is. So that does put him in foul play KO range. But had I just gone for the double onto Kangaskhan this turn, it would have been a lot better. And unfortunately, my team is relatively Sylveon weak, so I'm not looking forward to figuring out how to... Not figuring out, but like I just don't have many switch-ins. I normally rely on paralyzing. It has actually crit my Thunderbolt there, knocking out Kangaskhan, so pretty lucky there. I guess making up for the bad plays I've made earlier on. And yeah, Sylveon here, just not a very fun Pokemon to stare down. You know, I have Scizor and I have Terrakion, so I can Bullet Punch Rock Slide to KO it, but with my Thundurus taunted, I'm actually in quite a bad position right now, as my opponent's Thundurus comes in. However, what I can do is actually just go for the Foul Play into Thundurus to put it in Rock Slide KO range. I'm going to double into the Thundurus with a Foul Play and a Thunderbolt. Get as much damage off as possible, as he just goes for the Thunderbolt onto Thundurus. That's fine. That's going to knock me out, so I'm going to be losing both my Thundurus and Liepard here, but what I'm going for is a free switch into the... Oh wow, Life Orb Thundurus, interesting. That is bad actually, if he's max speed, which I assume he would be. But Foul Play does do a lot of damage there. Hyper Voice comes out, that's going to knock out Liepard. And if he has Grass Knot, this game just got a lot scarier, because of course Grass Knot can just knock out Terrakion, but I actually don't think he would. I mean, it's between whether he has Grass Knot or Protect as the last move, because we saw HP Ice. I mean, we didn't see HP Ice, but you'd assume it has HP Ice. So this is very, very intense right now. I just want to Bullet Punch Sylveon and Rock Slide. I'm gonna go for it. So Scizor Mega Evolves. Let's see. What does this Thundurus have? Actually, no, he had Taunt too. Yeah, there's no way he's got Grass Knot. Okay, perfect. So I do just get the Bullet Punch off. So Bullet Punch plus Rock Slide should be able to kick... Oh, wow, it actually knocked it out in one hit. Also a crit there. So, you know, Rock Slide would have finished it off, but... I was so confident he had HP Ice, but he had Grass Knot. Props to you, sir. Thunder Wave, Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, and Taunt, max speed. Thundurus. Wow. Well played there. So I guess a better play actually would have been to protect Terrakion and knock off Thundurus. Wow. I mean, Scizor, I was like, if he went for the Thunderbolt Hyper Voice, Scizor would have taken so much damage too, but well done to my opponent there. And I think I've lost this one at this point. I'm gonna go for a Protect, see what my opponent goes for. With Swords Dance, you know, something still might be possible. Especially because that Bisharp doesn't have the Life Orb, so maybe we can work something out here. Let's see. He does go for the T-Bolt straight into Scizor and the knockoff. Surprising that he did not go for the Thunder Wave. So, if Bullet Punch can knock out Thundurus here, that'd be great. Thunder Wave does make this game a bit more difficult to win. I would assume he's going to go for it here, but let's see. It's still possible to win this one, but wow, the grass knot coming out. You know, I really didn't expect it because HP Ice made a lot of sense. Okay, he doesn't Thunder Wave here, so I do get the Bullet Punch, and that does knock out the Thunderous. Of course, not very bulky, given that it's max speed and you just do max special attack as well. We do see the knockoff coming out. How much does this do? Not very much at all. Alright, alright. I'm going to go for a Swords Dance this first turn just so I get increased damage output for the majority of the game. He does go for another knockoff. Let's see. It's gonna be close. Might come down to damage rolls. I mean, I think it's a 4-hit KO. Yeah, but it really might come down to damage rolls. Like, if he gets min rolls, I can actually take a 5th one. But after that, I mean, he's definitely sashed. He could also go for Sucker Punch if he's feeling worried, but I think if you're him, he would just continue to go for knockoff since 2 more will finish me off. Knockoff should do more damage, so I'm just going to go for the knockoff to get as much damage off as possible. He does go for another one. 86 down to 35. Yeah, I probably can't take another one. That does do a lot of damage, does get rid of the sash. I don't think I can win this one, though. I'll protect to see if he potentially goes for a Sucker Punch. I mean, actually, yeah. At this point, you should probably just Sucker Punch. I don't think I can win this one, yeah. Unless somehow he allows me to set up 3 Swords Dances and I waste all her Sucker Punch PP. I'll go for a Swords Dance here. Let's see what we can do. Tight finish, but I do feel like my opponent deserved to win this one. He does go for a second Sucker Punch. Let's see how much PP we can stall. Now the thing is that +4, I don't know how much Bullet Punch. If I get another Swords Dance off and my opponent, you know, gets baited into a knockoff, it's actually very possible to win this still. So it's not over. It's gonna come down to mind games, and normally this works out in the Bisharp player's favor, but here we go. He does go for another Sucker Punch. Do I go for the Swords Dance or the Bullet Punch here? Oh, this is the turn. I really want a Bullet Punch. I mean, let's see. If I Swords Dance, if he knocks off, he just wins, obviously. He's only stalled out 3 PP, so he's got 2 left. Or not 2 left, 5 left if he's max PP'd. I really want to just go for the Bullet Punch here. I'm going to go for it. Nope, he goes for the Sucker Punch. Oh, well done. That's going to knock out Scizor. And it's going to be game. Yeah, I mean, the mind games are so real there, but, like, if you're the Bisharp player, like, normally that's going to end up working out in your favor. But great game to my opponent there. He definitely played the better game right from the start. I mean, like, for example, taunting the... or I tried to Thunder Wave the Kangaskhan and, well, disconnection there, actually, but he should get the points, which he deserves. But yeah, I mean, a couple small things here and there. For example, taunting the Kangaskhan definitely hurt, not taking advantage and getting more damage output, and the Sylveon in itself was a kind of concern as well. And then, of course, the late game as well, not being able to deal with... I mean, I should have predicted Grass Knot from that Thunderous. I just was so confident he had HP Ice, Thunderbolt, Taunt, and Thunder Wave, because that just makes a lot more sense to me, but ultimately he did have Grass Knot. So, you know, if I protected with Terrakion and knocked off the Thunderous that turn, actually I think I would have ended up winning. Because the following turn, I assumed the Sylveon was Specs. I could just, you know, Bullet Punch Rock Slide to KO that, and then at that point, the Scizor would be able to beat the Bisharp because the Bisharp already had taken enough damage, but you know, my opponent deserved that one, and I should have played assuming Grass Knot, but pretty awesome to see my opponent pull out that trick. And, you know, offensive Thunderous is really fantastic because with Life Orb you are able to outspeed and KO Terrakion, so, you know, it's there specifically to beat Terrakion, and it ended up working out. But, you know, good game to my opponent. Nice to get the rematch in the first game as well. So, yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Alright, peace. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to check out Clash Tournaments, my sponsor on YouTube and Twitter. They offer some of the best Super Smash Bros. Content out there, and I'm super grateful for them. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch as you see in the boxes below. See you guys soon!